What is up, pre-algebra students? This is lesson 36. Our objective is how do you multiply and divide integers and terms. Well, basic idea here for multiplying or dividing integers with the same sign is if they have the same sign, meaning they're both positive, they're both negative, that means your answer is going to be positive. So you just multiply like normal and your answer is going to be positive. If they have different signs, then your answer is going to be negative. So you divide them or multiply them like normal, but your sign is going to be negative. So just work a few of these out. These are like examples 1 and 3. So here part A, I'm looking at negative 3 times negative 2. I'm noticing that both of those have the same sign. Since they both have the same sign, it means I know my answer is going to be positive. 3 times 2 is 6, so my answer is going to be a positive 6. Number B, or letter B here, is 4 times a negative 3. That means the 4 is positive, the negative 3 is negative, so that means they have different signs. So that means my answer is going to be a negative, and 4 times 3 is 12, so my answer is negative 12. C, again my answers are, they have the same sign, right? Negative 12 or negative 2, they're both negative. So I know my answer is going to be positive, so 12 over 2, or 12 divided by 2 is 6. D, different signs, 10 over negative 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, so my answer is going to be negative 2, because they have different signs. Part E says negative 2 cubed, and that negative 2 is in parentheses, so this means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Well, let me just multiply these two together. Negative 2 times negative 2 gives me a positive 4. Then I'm multiplying that by a negative 2. So now I have a positive and negative, so my answer is going to be negative 4 times 2 is 8. So negative 2 cubed comes out to be negative 8. Now, let's look here at part F and G. F says negative 1 to the 9th power. So that's going to be this. Notice there are 9 of those. Well, if I multiply these two together, negative 1 times negative 1 is going to be 1. These two give me 1. These two give me 1. These two give me 1, and I have this last one left over here, negative 1. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times negative 1, that's going to be 1 times a negative 1, which comes out to be negative 1. Okay? Well, for part G here, notice there's 10 of those, so it would just be 1 more negative 1 on here. So now these two together would just come out to be 1. So it's going to be 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which would come out to be 1. So kind of a short way to think about this is to think about if I have a negative number being raised to an odd exponent, say that 9 is odd, my answer is going to come out to be negative. Kind of like I did right here. I have a negative number being raised to an odd exponent, coming out to be negative. If I have a negative number being raised to an even exponent, it's going to come out to be positive. It's going to come out to be 1. And that's because whenever it's even, those negative numbers will always pair up, right? Because a negative times a negative makes it positive, so they'll always pair up. But if it's an odd number, then there'll be that 1 left out that will remain negative and make all the rest of them negative, because a positive times a negative is negative. Alright, this is like example 4. It says, for part A, it says, for y is equal to x squared, solve for y if x is negative 3. So let's just say y is equal to negative 3 squared. And of course, you're going to want to use your parentheses. So that means y is going to be negative 3 times a negative 3, which means y is going to come out to be a positive number because they have the same sign, and 3 times 3 is 9. So notice y is equal to 9 in this case. Now, I have something similar going on over here, and notice, even though I plugged in a negative number, I got out a positive number because it was being squared. Now with that, even exponent there. So it says for part B, it says if x squared is equal to 16, then x can be what? Two numbers. So I'm thinking, what number squared is going to give me 16? Well, one answer is 4, because I know 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. So I know one answer is 4, but it says two numbers. So what other number times itself is going to give me 16? Well, kind of like we did over here in part A, I know negative 4 times negative 4 is also going to give me 16, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive number. So my two answers there are going to be negative 4 and 4. Alright, arithmetic with two integers. We've gone over all of this before. Properties of whenever you're adding numbers, if they have same sign or different sign, subtracting numbers, multiplying or dividing numbers is what we just talked about today. So this is kind of just a quick review. It's there in your book on page 240 if you want to copy it from there, if you want to pause the video and copy it from there, but this needs to be in your quick reference part of your binder. So please pause the video and do that now, or just copy it from your book later whenever you get a chance and you're filling out notes. Alright, so now we're going to be doing the same idea, except for now I'm going to be working with things with letters in them. So let's just see what we can do. As we multiply, remember 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. And like this 8x squared y just means 8 times x squared times y. And then it's saying times this, which is times negative 2 times x times y times z. So what we can do is we can just kind of rearrange all of this, and it's still going to come up with the same answer. So to rearrange all of this, I'm just going to put all of my numbers in front. 8 times negative 2 times, I'm going to put all my x's together. X squared times x times all my y's together. Y times y, and then all of my z's. So let me just make sure I got an 8, yep, x squared, yep, y, yep, negative 2, yep, x, y, and z. Alright, so now I'll simplify. 8 times negative 2 is going to give me negative 16. X squared times x is going to give me x cubed. Y times y gives me y squared. And z is just going to give me z. So it's going to be my answer. Alright, here let's see, look at part B here. I'm just going to expand this here a little bit. I'm going to have 8, negative 2 is going to be x times y, because that x squared is like that. And then I have an x times y times z. And I'm remembering here that any number like 2 divided by 2 is just equal to 1. Or x divided by x would also equal to 1. So I know that this x divided by this x right here is really just a big 1. And this y divided by that y is really just 1. So let's look at that. 8 divided by negative 2 is going to give me a negative 4. On top, I still have an x, and on the bottom, I still have a z. If you wanted to, you could have just as easily written it like this, negative 4x over z. But I'd probably go with the one there in the box. In general is how we would write that. Alright, expand. This is just the distributive property. So we're going to go hippity-hoppity this times this. 4y times 3y, well that's going to be like 4 times 3 times y minus 4y times this. 4 times 5 times y. Again, I just kind of did a little bit of rearranging there. So 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. Y times y is y squared minus 4 times 5 is 20, and then I have that y. Alright, Now this is negative 2q times 3q minus 4. And so if you want to just kind of think about it as this being multiplied by that and being multiplied by that. So it's going to be negative 2 times 3 times q. And then minus negative 2 times 4 times q. Alright, so negative 2 times 3 is going to give me negative 6. Q times q gives me q squared. And this gets a little bit tricky here, but negative 2 times 4 is a negative 8. And then q. But notice I'm saying a minus 8q. Since I'm saying minus a minus, I'm just going to change this to a positive. Right? Because if you want to think of it as like a negative 1 times that, so it's going to be plus 8q. Alright, your homework is on page 242. You can do all the 36, all the 35s, and then 14 more of your choice. Good luck. I know you're going to do awesome.